Episode 174 of Weighing In with Travis Hartman. I am B Money, the producer. That over there is the talent weekend trap, aka Travis Hartman, and we do care on this broadcast. And we care that we need to talk about Canelo in two different instances. First and foremost, the rumor here, the rumor mill showing us that Canelo taking on Jake Paul. Tell me it isn't so. Then we'll talk Crawford, and then we'll wrap up David Benavidez and David Morrell, the finale of their fight. The finale of their fight, of course. So let's talk Canelo first. Any legs to this weekend, Chad? Do you think this is true? Jake Paul taking on Canelo Alvarez in May. Is there anything to this?
So there is something to it. Nothing is signed. Nothing is set in stone. I mean, I think that Canelo was looking at this. William Skull is his name because he has one of the titles at 168. I think that fight makes more sense, and it's a win still for Canelo. However, I mean, I was talking about there's another guy. If he fights Jake Paul, he's gonna make a ton of money. It'll be Canelo's easiest fight that he's ever had as a pro. And Jake Paul is gonna make more money than he made with Tyson. And he's gonna try to get some recognition as, hey, look, I fought a legit fighter. I fought one of the best ever. And he will. Canelo, I don't think is gonna knock him out cold, but I think Canelo is gonna beat him up to the point where the ref either stops it or Jake quits. Because I think Jake's big enough and he's going to have defense good enough. But again, Canelo can knock him out. Yes. I don't know if I'll knock him out cold, but 100% if this fight happens, Canelo wins, right?
Yeah, he'll open up. He'll open up as minus 2,500 favorite on that if that's what happens. If this does come to fruition somehow, should I feel as slimy as I do talking about it, as disgusting as I do, as gross? It just seems, I don't know, disgraceful in a bit. Am I wrong for thinking that?
No, you're not. Jake Paul, if somehow he pulls this Hail Mary off and fights Canelo Alvarez, like what a disgraceful yet also epic, masterful move of all time. Jake Paul, B Money, if he gets this fight, he has now fought Mike Tyson and Canelo Alvarez, he's made a shit ton of money.
It's just usually the format for this weekend, Trav, and you know this, is that you have your career, you set, right off into the sunset. And then this is the kind of fight that's in your post career. Like, you take a Floyd Mayweather taking on Conor McGregor. We all watched it because it was going to be entertaining, but we weren't thinking about Floyd's legacy or anything like that because he'd only been retired for a while. Yeah. It just doesn't feel right. It just gives me the willies.
Yeah, I mean, there's a deal in place that I'm reading, that I'm hearing, that he'll fight Jake Paul possibly, then he'll fight Terence Crawford, and
which we'll get to in a minute,
and it'll be part of a 3-fight deal. And listen, whoever he fights in May, because he did sign to fight Crawford in September, whoever Canelo fights in May is going to have to be somebody that he does beat for sure, right? You don't want to mess up the mega fight with Crawford. And I know that you might not like that, but I think it is a mega fight.
I think it is. Yeah.
It's either now or never that he fights Jake, because I think the longer this goes by, Jake is going to end up taking a fight with somebody that is going to beat him, and then the luster goes away, right? So I think Canelo's maybe like, you know what, I'm going to roll the dice now, because if I can knock him out now, it's over and he'll be done at the big scene. So I don't know. I don't know what they're thinking, because they're not really saying much. There's very, very tight-lipped stuff going on. But I'm not a fan of it.
What's going around on the social media channels, it's a lot of reposts of these random accounts that I've never heard of. And then accounts that I've heard of are the ones reposting, not real, but just a picture of it. Mm-hmm. You haven't heard anything. Jake Paul seems to, we keep hearing more July for him, and that's from MVP talking about it. Canelo's camp hasn't said a thing, which isn't, I mean, it could just be smoke and mirrors from both of those camps, and it might actually come to fruition. But like the source, like when you ask, well, who's your source? Trust me, bro. That's the
Yeah, so
source.
it's one of those.
It's like ESPN boxing's been wrong about 1,000 million times, and
Yeah.
I think that's one of the sources. Um, I don't
This
know.
could be another brilliant Jake Paul marketing move
Just
to just
talking to get
get
his name
talked
out,
about.
get his
Yes.
name in there. Yeah,
Let's kind of hope it is that. But again, here's where I kind of I don't judge. I don't judge another man by how much money he makes. And Jake Paul and Canelo are going to make a shit ton of money. So if they want to do that, go for it. But if you want us to weigh in on that of the legitimacy of a boxing match, it's bullshit. Okay,
yeah.
it is. That's it. If you want to fight, it's a money grab. It is what it is. And the
Hmm.
thing is, this is the crap thing about it is you know that it will sell because people will finally get to see Jake Paul get his ass knocked out.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
that's why it'll sell. And I don't know. Canelo's in an interesting place to where he doesn't have to fight Jake Paul and he'll still make a ton of money. But if he does fight Jake Paul, he'll make a little bit more. He
It's just
will.
interesting. I just feel like I just would think that he's still at a point and it's towards the latter part of his career that it's still
Yeah, yeah,
he wants legitimate
yeah.
big fights. This
Legacy
isn't
fights.
this isn't a legitimate legacy fight. This is like you said, quote unquote, a money grab, and that just
Mhm.
seems a little odd for Canelo Alvarez. Don't get me wrong; he commands the money. I get that,
Yeah.
but it's just odd. It's like it's a celebrity boxing match.
Yeah,
I just don't get it.
I almost think that knowing how ingrained Canelo is in boxing, because he's like no boxing, no life. And I believe that he loves boxing to the core. I don't know if he wants this fight. If this fight actually somehow happens, I believe it's because somebody in his camp, probably a manager, money guy, talks him into it. Because I don't see Canelo wanting this fight. I think Canelo thinks that it's a clown show, and he's said as much as that.
Yeah,
So, and it's just hard, man, because I mean, if you're going to make that much money for an easy fight, why would you not do it? If you're Jake Paul, you're going to make this much money to step in the ring with a great, and yes, you're going to get knocked out. You are. You're going to get knocked out. If you even go 12 rounds with one of the greatest at that level, then I think that's a win for Paul. He doesn't go the distance.
gonna be a
Canelo
drop
stops.
by liver punch. Is his
Canelo
liver?
stops him.
Yeah, his liver is gonna puncture,
And you know
and
what? You
that's
know
it.
what? It might even be one of that. It might even be as tragic and massive as the Anthony Joshua and Ganu fight because of the level is different. It
Yeah.
really could be something that, even though Jake Paul has a 6'1", 200-pound size advantage over Canelo,
See,
doesn't matter.
that's the other thing. Uh, Where are they meeting? How would they meet in weight? I
Well,
mean,
it's not that crazy if you think about it, because Jake Paul, his whole pro career, minus the Tyson fight, that was BS, right? His whole career has been at 195, which is cruiserweight. Cruiserweight is 176 to 200. Jake Paul weighs like 195, 185,
I don't even know
184.
how he weighs in at that for those fights.
Yeah.
I
And
don't even know.
Canelo fights at 168 and usually walks into the ring at 180. So Canelo would just technically only have to weigh 176 to legally make this fight at cruiserweight, which is not out of the question because Jake Paul can make under 200. He's made it his whole career. Even though he weighed 220 something, I think, for the Mike Tyson fight, he's made under 200 his whole pro career.
Big
So
difference,
he
though.
can
I don't
make
care.
that.
I don't care
Oh,
how
it
skilled you
is.
are. It's a big difference.
It is
Big
massive
difference.
difference. I That's why I don't think it's going to be as much of a destruction fast as you would think. I think this fight goes a little bit later because of the size difference. But remember, Canelo moved up to 175 against Sergey Kovalev, who was 6'1", 6'2", and probably weighing 190 when he went into that fight with Canelo. And Canelo knocked
Mm-hmm.
him out cold.
Mm-hmm.
And he was a world champion at the time. Kovalev was a world champion at the time. And
Then the
Canelo
last
knocked him
time,
out
but then the
cold.
last time that Canelo moved up, how did that work out? Not that it's the
You,
same caliber
There,
at
yes,
all.
exactly. Not even
Not even
close.
close.
That was a Bivol that you're speaking of, and Canelo
Yeah.
lost the decision. Yeah, not even close. But listen, that's why you're not completely wrong. Because of the size difference, it is going to be a little bit of a growing pain going into the 2, 3, 4, 5 rounds because Canelo never rushes anything,
Right.
right? He
Right.
breaks methodically and he'll break you down. That's what he's going to do to Paul. And he'll break him
Ugh.
down still, even though he's big. But Canelo can land a clean shot on Paul, and it's possible because Paul has eaten clean shots before. I actually, if you watch the Tyson fight, Paul ate a pretty clean left hook from Tyson, and then I was like, oh,
Yeah.
and then,
Yeah.
but he is big. He absorbed it pretty good. He will absorb some of the power of Canelo, but overall, he will not be able to withstand the barrage
That's because
and the
Mike
amount
Tyson
of
was
punishment.
Mike Tyson wasn't paying attention to the signals on the gloves, the tappings and stuff. He just he broke from the
No,
story.
not you too.
Okay,
Not
well,
you
okay.
too.
Well, let's move on from fantasy because we still don't know if this is going to happen. Let's move on to reality, which seems to be, other than not actually seeing it signed, sealed, and delivered, but basically talked about signed, sealed, and delivered later this year, coming to us from Las Vegas. I think the Allegiant Arena, if I'm not, I mean, I
Hmm.
might be mistaken, but
No, you're right. It's reporting that.
yep, Canelo Alvarez taking on Terence Crawford. This is a super fight. This is two of the best pound for pound fighters in the world over the last, call it 5 years, would be in that discussion. 5 years
Yeah.
plus, both of them
Yeah.
being in the top
Yep.
10. Wow. It's almost as if like it's just kind of like we've kind of expected it to happen. Now it looks like it's confirmed and like it's a long time from now, so it's hard to get like really amped up. And then this all Hall stuff got thrown in there. It's like, what are we?
Yeah.
Come on. So let's talk this, briefly here. Canelo Alvarez, Terence Crawford. You got to be excited.
Dude, I'm excited, but I'm not because that's two of my favorite current fighters. I love
Well,
Canelo and I love Terence
well,
Crawford.
Canelo made it a point to disrespect you about a week or two ago, where he said that Terence Crawford's fought nobodies, and I took that as a personal insult for you.
I did too, and there's a reason why we've never had Canelo on this podcast. It's because of comments like that.
That's right.
We're
That's
the
right.
ones that turned him down, and that's why he's not on the
For
podcast.
those that don't maybe not know that Terence Crawford did beat Weekend Trav by decision back many years ago. That's
In the
official. One of the
pros, yep.
one of the very few that have not been knocked out by Terence Crawford as one Weekend Trav over there.
I'm a stubborn, tough son of a gun, um, in a loss. But yeah, listen, I think that Terence Crawford is a phenomenal talent. He's coming up from, they're not really speaking the whole story because Crawford actually turned pro at like 135. He won a title there. He won a title at 140, won a title at 47, won a title at 54 now. So he'd be technically moving up from 54 to 68, which, if you want to talk about it, it's actually not as big of a jump as you would think because guys like Charlo just did that with a fight with Canelo. One of the Charlos at 54, 154-pound champion, he went up to fight Canelo at 168. It's not outrageous to happen. And what people don't take into account is that Canelo turned pro at 140 pounds as well. He's 5'7", B money.
Yeah, he's
Okay, he's
short.
very small. Crawford's 5'8", 5'9". The size difference, and listen, Canelo's been at that weight class a little bit longer, obviously, so he's really filled out into the body, and he's also been used to that punching power of that weight
Yeah,
class.
yeah.
That is the difference. He's used to that punching power. It is a big difference. And as much as Crawford is amazing, Crawford has also taken some clean shots over the years too. He's never been
Mhm.
down, he's never been out, nothing like that. But yes, he has been caught clean. I don't know if he gets caught clean by Canelo that he'll stand up like he's done against the other guys.
Um,
So he's going to have to be on his game. And that's the thing. But that's why this fight is amazing because both guys are going to have to be on their game. And I don't think this is a clean sweep for Canelo. People think that, oh, he's the 68, he's the undisputed champion there, he's got all the titles, he's a great, and he is a great. I don't think it's outlandish to think that Terence Crawford can and might beat Canelo Alvarez.
Sure. Sure. I think there's always a chance, and you spoke to the metrics, and it's a big meet in the middle, like or if they're meeting at that certain weight, yeah, Canelo's usually kind of small for the weight classes and that, but that power is something different. I get it. Terrence Crawford
Yes.
has power too, and he's very very quick, and he's very slick and smart in there, but so is Canelo. I mean,
Yeah.
like all
Yeah.
the check boxes are marked for both of these guys. And so the deciding factor then, unless something just occurs wildly in the fight, the deciding factor is all the intangibles of I've been at this weight class for a long time. I'm bigger. I'm stronger. We're both very smart. We both have a very uh, diverse skill set. You would think favor tilts towards Canelo in that as of right now, even though age maybe could play a factor too. But Terrence isn't a
Both guys
young
are the
guy
same
either.
age. They're the
Oh,
same
they're the
age.
same age.
I think
Oh,
they're both 36.
okay. Well, there you go.
So
So it's
age,
a
yeah.
it's an intriguing fight, and I think it's the big fight that we need to see for the year.
Yeah.
And at least we know it's on the docket, right? Because frankly, there's not really a heavyweight showdown that we're really clamoring for anymore. I think that kind of exhausted itself, and now there needs to be kind of
Yeah.
a reload in that division.
Yeah.
Um, we talk some of the smaller guys, and maybe Haney and Garcia round two might be something to talk about later in the year as well. But who knows? One of
Garcia's got to
them.
get past
Yeah.
Rolly as well. That Rolly
Wow.
fight's going to be interesting. I think it'll be interesting
Yeah,
because
they're both kind of weird, aren't they?
yeah,
In
it could
there.
be very interesting. I don't think that that's a gimme fight either.
Well, I
I
think
think it's an
Rolly's
interesting
overrated
one.
a lot in the ring. He's talked his way into his position.
He has. He punches really hard, though. I'm telling you that Garcia's got to be careful because I do, in all of Rolly's bullshit, I think he punches really hard. I do. And if you watch that Tank fight, when he fought Tank, dude, there was those early rounds. I was just like, oh my God. I was like, man, Rolly was like this close from landing a blockbuster shot, and Tank is just slick and missed him. But back to finishing it up with the Crawford Canelo one is I love the fight. I think that Canelo has shown that he can be outboxed, and
Mm,
Bivol did that.
yeah,
Bivol
sure.
outboxed, even outworked him. Granted, Bivol 6'1", rangy, long, a full-fledged 175.
Once Canelo was
Different.
behind in the cards, he became very one-dimensional. He knew he
Yeah.
had to put damage in and knock him out.
And Canelo's been outboxed before by many guys. If you go all the way back to Erislandy Lara, who is a lefty, who a
Hmm.
lot of people thought beat Canelo, and I think you could make a case that Erislandy Lara did beat Canelo. However, Canelo won that fight, and why I bring it up is because even though Terence Crawford is a righty, he fights as lefty most of the time.
Sure, sure.
I think that Terence Crawford can be slick like Erislandy Lara, and elusive and hits really hard too. I don't think that Terence Crawford can knock out Canelo. I don't think anybody can knock out Canelo, to be fair. But I do think Crawford can outbox Canelo by being smart and using the ring and using all of his advantages possible. Don't sit on the ropes. Don't lay there, because if Canelo pounds on Terence Crawford, on his body, on his arms, like he likes to hit people's arms and their body, if he does that to Crawford, he will break him down. I can see this fight going early for Terence Crawford. And if Canelo can get to him, wears him down, because that's what you want to do with the boxer. Canelo wants to wear him down, to slow him down. And Canelo might give away some early rounds to do that. And I know I'm breaking this down so early, but I love this fight, B Money. I want to talk nothing but this
I
fight
know,
for the
and we
next
will have
3-4 months.
We'll have plenty of time. One thing to consider, and maybe we'll wrap this part of the podcast up, uh, is the time off. Like Canelo fights religiously twice a year,
Mm-hmm.
May and then September-ish
Mm-hmm.
timeframe.
Mm-hmm.
And when was the last time Crawford fought?
Yeah, it's been a while. He fought Madrimov last
Right.
year,
Yeah,
towards the
yeah.
end of the year. I think it was October, maybe, if I'm right. I know I should have this information, but I don't.
And then
But
before
he did fight.
that,
Yeah, he's got long gaps, and that's why it was
yeah,
very. His career has been tough.
and so that's why that could play a role. I think as we get to September timeframe, just the long layoffs, and maybe it could work in his favor that he's healthy and he's always had time to heal up. But I just don't know how I feel about that. We'll talk about it as the months progress towards that point in the year. Who knows? The whole world could be different. We could all have the bird flu for all I care, or for all I know at that point. It could be completely different. Anywho, so speaking of Canelo, let's talk about somebody that everyone assumes he's been ducking.
Yeah.
David Benavidez took on David Morrell this past weekend, beat him by decision. And what do you think of that fight? I think you were texting like crazy during it. You were loving it,
Yeah. Yeah.
and B Money was
I enjoyed
asleep.
it.
I saved $80 and went to sleep.
Hey, listen, the Fight Club, our Instagram Fight Club, we were enjoying that fight. I thought it was a very good fight, and
You didn't pay $80 for it.
I
We'll just leave
watched
it at
it.
that. We'll just leave it
Exact.
at that.
You're correct. Okay, I did watch it though. But listen, I never said that I thought Morrell was gonna beat Benavidez, but I was like, I think this guy can fight, even though he's
Sure.
not proven 11-0. He showed every bit of how talented, how great he is, even for 11 fights. Okay. Yeah, that kind of throws people off when you only have 11
Yeah.
fights. They're like, oh, he's untested. Nah, this guy's a Cuban.
He's gonna be a problem.
He's probably had 9,000 fights,
Yeah, right.
and he's young too, they say. But
Yeah,
he fought amazing, B Money. Listen, there was no point in that fight that David Benavidez took over and proved that he was a class above him. He proved that he won. Yes, the decision was absolutely correct. David Benavidez did go down as well. You know what? I'm going to talk about that. Here's the deal. David Benavidez got knocked down by David Morrell. Okay. The rules are if you throw a punch and land it legally on the body of the other person, it doesn't matter where it's at. If it's legal on his arm, on his chest, anywhere, and he falls down from that, and you didn't purposely trip him or nothing like that, it is considered a knockdown. Was Benavidez hurt? No, but it was a knockdown. So stop trying to gloss over that.
Yeah,
He wasn't hurt, but it was a knockdown. The
they're
ruling was correct.
in
They
a
even
split in a split second, their feet had just exchanged locations in it, so it definitely wasn't purposefully a trip. It was a boom boom, and they actually, I think David Benavidez's foot went to the inside or wait the outside. I can't
yeah.
remember, but the feet just shuffled positions, and it was boom boom, and it was just kind of a flash knockdown. Yeah.
That's it. He knocked him off balance, but they even reviewed that because there's a rule now that they can review it, and they confirmed the knockdown. It was a knockdown. People get so in their emotions. They're like, he could no listen. It was a knockdown. Was he hurt? No. But did he land a blow on a perfect moment? And he was a little off balance, and their feet were a little bit congested. He went down. It was a
Yeah.
knockdown. It counts as a knockdown. It will forever go down as a knockdown. Did David Morrell hurt Benavidez? No.
No.
But it was a knockdown. So stop claiming that
And
it
then what
wasn't.
happened in the last 10 seconds of that round? David Benavidez was back to it, and he pushed him into the corner and started doing work, and the bell went.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
But again, I want to go back to this. I mean, I love the fact that David Morrell, 11-0, has a big time promotion company behind him. Didn't have to take this fight. Was like, I'm ready. And he is. I think he is ready for that division. I think that he's a problem for a lot of guys. David Benavidez showed why he is undefeated and why they call him the Mexican monster. He's a very good fighter, right? He does a lot of things well. And he deserves to be where he's at. But also, David Morrell, B Money, is right there, bro. Lefty, can punch hard, took everything that Benavidez had. David Benavidez never had David Morrell in any serious trouble that whole fight. That fight was competitive. Benavidez won, but that fight was a very competitive fight. I would 100% down the road and maybe a couple of years after Morrell maybe has beaten some other guys you didn't think he would beat. I would love to see a rematch down the road after a couple of years. Either fighter does whatever they have to do. I don't think it's out of the question to see a David Morrell versus David Benavidez down the road. Again, because he did put up an amazing fight, got a lot of experience. I thought it was a great fight. Pay-per-view, B Money wasn't a fan of it, but Isaac Cruz fought really great. The Stephen Fulton versus Brandon Figueroa fight really didn't deliver like I thought it would. It delivered in
But
another
his
way.
kit, yeah, his kit did though. His outfit
Yes,
did.
it delivered in another way. But the fights were awesome, man. They really were. They were very intriguing. The Isaac Cruz versus Poitier guy, I think, was pretty exciting, man. And it's a freaking Isaac Cruz fight. When is it not exciting? This guy just presses the action. Every single person he ever
Yeah.
fights, he makes
Yeah.
fights exciting.
Keyshawn Davis said, "Hey, let's go. You know, you're exciting. I'm excited. Let's have at it with Isaac Cruz. So we'll see."
I like Keyshawn Davis. This old boy is like 10, 11, 12 fights in too and calling everybody out. He wants
Yeah.
to fight everybody, which he's
It's
trained by
good. It's
Bomac,
good
which Crawford's
because
guy.
I mean, when you think about it, we really need like some of the younger guys to start stepping into the limelight here.
Yeah. And they're doing it earlier now.
Yeah, the same names we've been talking about for the last 4 years. I mean, they're 4 years older now, and they've been ducking each other, and a lot of big fights haven't happened. Some have. So these younger guys need to start filling the void, and we're starting to see some of that now. Congratulations, David Benavidez. You now get the winner of Bivol and Better Biev. Bivol and Better Biev. Congrats.
Yeah, I
Congrats.
know. I was gonna say the same thing. Hey,
Jeez.
congrats. You get another monster, whoever wins that fight.
I mean, that's good
What
luck.
a fight though, B Money. Let's just go and say Better Beef beats Bivol in the rematch, which that could be different. But Better Beef versus David Benavidez, holy crap, B Money.
I don't think it's that good of a fight.
I think it's a great fight, dude.
You
I
think?
think, oh my gosh, yes.
Okay.
You don't think
Okay.
that to be? Oh my! I think that would be a amazing fight. Better Beef is tough, active, presses the action. David Benavidez is tough, active, presses the action, and's got hype on his side. I think that fight is phenomenal, and we might see a knockout possibly. But both guys have proven they have chins. Dude, that's a mouth-watering fight. I think it is. I don't want to be in that fight.
Never
Okay?
say something mouth-watering ever again.
You've never heard that statement before?
Not from a man.
It's a mouth watering. Your mouth doesn't
Jeez.
water when you get a nice juicy steak. It doesn't have mouth watering.
Your
It's
mouth's
looking
watering when you're
forward to
thinking about
something.
putting meat in your mouth. Okay.
Oh,
So, anyways,
it's
so that's
already been a long
174,
week.
episode 174. If you have yet to subscribe, please do so. If you're following us on YouTube, thank you. If not, subscribe below, hit the thumb up or the bell icon as well to be notified anytime we drop new content. And then if you're listening to us, our melodic voices on Spotify and the like, thank you. Please do follow and download our episodes on the audio source of your choice going forward. Also on Instagram at Wayne in with Travis Hartman. Did I miss anything weekend, Trav?
Now you killed it, dude. Other than the mouth-watering comment,
It wasn't my comment. That was your comment.
your comment after it.
You were talking about two guys fighting and it's mouth watering.
You took it there.
Okay. Anyways, that's it. That's it. You got anything else for us?
No, that's good. It's about to go off the rails if we do more.
I think it already did. Anyways, episode 174. Thank you very much for your time. That over there is the talent weekend, Trav.
Thank you guys. That over there is B Money, aka this is a very white statement to make. There's a comedian that makes these jokes all the time, and he's correct. But I feel like only white people say this. It was the man, the myth, the legend, B Money, and I say that like every time.
That's yeah. Well, and
But I'm pretty white.
you are, and that's okay. And that's there's no DEI here, so I'm okay with it.
I'm proud of it.
Bless. God bless.